Welcome, trainers, to the third PBF podcast of the season. My name is Mike Mealy. With me, as always, Jeremy Temple
Hey, how we doing?
and Seth Graham.
Hello.
And once again, we have a very special guest for you because the PBF podcast gives the people what they want. We bring to you the only man to have ever won the PBF championship, the only man to have ever won two PBF championships, your back-to-back reigning and defending PBF champion, Drew Adam. Drew, say hi to your PBF fans here.
Hello, fans. I am what the people want. It is a pleasure to be joining you this week. I hope I can bring you guys what you need.
So, Drew, right off the bat, you've won two PBF championships in a row. How do you feel about this season trying to go for three?
I feel pretty good. My division is really competitive, which I'm actually really happy about. So it's going to be challenging to even make it into the playoffs, let alone to get through to the end. But it's not my favorite team that I've ever had. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Now, you talk about the teams that you've had. This team that you won with first was not really your team. You picked up where our friend Dan DeCoco left off, excuse me. What was it like trying to battle with a team that you had no input in creating?
It was really weird at first, and I was like, what is this garbage? Like, who picked this team? All these Pokemon are terrible. I was like, oh, I like Jellicent. I know how to use that. I was like, Mega Medicham, that doesn't sound great, but I'll give it a try. And then I started just dropping random Pokemon on the waivers for things that I knew how to use and things that I was familiar with. And as I played more and more games, I was like, wow, these Pokemon are actually surprisingly usable. Like Togekiss was a really good pick. Jellicent, like I said, I've used before and really like him. And Mega Medicham is surprisingly overpowered and really got me through a ton of games. I ended up picking up Marowak, I think because Adam Neal said he would do a drawing of somebody if they picked up and used a Thick Club Marowak, and he ended up being my MVP in the championship because I think I used Trick Room and ended up getting like 8 kills with him in the finals. So yeah, it ended up working out. The team wasn't mine, but it ended up being a good team. And then the next season, I kept a couple of the guys and picked up some of my favorites, and that worked out too. So.
And so you won the first season, and then you won the second season again. So what do you think is the key to success in the PBF, having won both seasons?
Key to success. I mean, the way I've always played has worked for me. I usually play really defensively and rely heavily on tight matchups and switching into things that I know will be able to handle the opponent's attacks. So, and some people are better at playing offensively. Like I know Seth the first season did really well with his Mega Pinsir and a couple of Mamoswine and Fernape and that kind of stuff. And he played really well using that kind of team. So I would say just go with whatever is your style, whatever you're best at using, and that is going to give you the best chance in this league because everyone plays differently, and you might match up better against somebody using your style than their style works for them.
Do you guys have any comments about that? Do you agree with him? That's the way to be successful in this league.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, you can't disagree. I mean, if you've won 2 seasons, you can't like. I don't know. I mean, if you won both seasons, you stuck it out the whole time. I mean, I'm pretty sure you won your division both times, obviously. I mean, you can't really disagree with anything there.
Yeah, playing your battles is pretty key too. You gotta stick it out to the end and not give up in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think that's our favorite game of the week.
Yeah, I think the commitment is pretty good. So maybe this year Jeremy will actually make a run for the playoffs.
Maybe. I mean, maybe.
No,
I like to think I'd like to think of myself more as an organizer. Like we're gonna set up the league, and if I don't make it to the end, that's okay.
It was still a success.
Right. As long as somebody wins, that means the season got to the end. So.
Now, Drew, you mentioned your OP Mega Metacham. What do you think of the new format this year with the assigned megas and the slow rollout of the schedule and that kind of stuff?
Well, I was kind of really upset by the fact that my rival from Season 2, who got the championships with me, Richard Haynes, ended up getting Mega Metacham. So he's been using that to kick some ass, literally, in the PBF. Ha, jokes. But I've been giving him some advice on sets and kind of enjoy seeing someone else use it because it's a fun Pokemon to use and it's really good to use. But I like I like getting the megas already because ever since Gen 6, I guess it's kind of been my philosophy to build a team around a mega. And so when you're given megas to start, you don't necessarily know where you want to go with that, and you don't necessarily have something planned out to start at the draft. And you get to kind of build around that based on what you have, and you don't get to obviously choose what you get. So I thought it was an interesting format. I liked that you got 2 megas and then had the potential to trade them too, because that made it so if you really didn't like your megas, you could still find a way to get something else that you liked or that worked for you.
And were you happy with your 2 megas?
To start, I got Mega Garchomp and Mega Camerupt. And Mega Garchomp, I thought, well, if I pick up Tyranitar and make kind of a Sand team, he has Sand Force as his ability, and I can make that work. Mega Camerupt, I was not super thrilled about, but at first I had 2 teams that I was going to be using. One used Trick Room, and Mega Camerupt has a base speed of like 20 and is actually really powerful and has Sheer Force, so I was like, I can make this work. But I decided I wasn't really that happy with Mega Camerupt, so I ended up trading to, I think, Ampharosinus because he got Mega Salamence and Mega Sableye. And I was like, he's never going to use Mega Sableye if he has Mega Salamence because that thing's ridiculous. So I proposed a trade with him, figuring I could use Mega Sableye pretty well, and ended up getting him and have used him to decent success so far. So I wasn't perfectly happy with them, but I ended up making a trade that I was pretty good with.
Do either of you guys have any questions for Drew before we move on to our segmented portion of the show?
Yeah, I give us a little play-by-play of that game against Team Nohawk with Mega Sableye.
Yeah, I mean, he is a setup tank. He's very similar to Sigilif, actually, which I used in the first season and really liked. That if you get 1 or 2 Calm Minds off with him, burn him with a Will-O-Wisp, it can pretty much be game over because he can't be status because of Magic Bounce. Man, he's really, really bulky. So I don't think he was the main reason I ended up pulling that game out, but...
I mean, I'm going to throw this out here. I thought about doing this. I haven't yet to do it. But, I think Mega Sableye, if Ampharosinus would have thought about this, I don't think he would have traded him because there's nothing preventing you from bringing both of your Megas to a game.
It's true.
And I have thought at times to bring Mega Lopunny and still bring Slowbro as a wall. I mean, just because he can't have leftovers or anything, he's just having a useless Mega Stone. He's still pretty good. So, you still got a normal Sableye with Prankster, so it's a wonderful trade for you. It's probably a fine trade for Ampharosinus too, because I think who'd you send, Jolteon or something?
Yeah, I gave him Jolteon too.
Well, so hey, it works out. I'm always in favor of trades.
Yep.
So,
Seth, do you have any response to the talk about your game with Drew?
I will not use this as an excuse, but I was actually looking at the wrong roster when I picked that team because I am dumb. But no, I don't know. This season's gonna be rough for me because I kind of went against what Drew was talking about earlier, where I tried to draft just like a good, like solid overall team, where I usually generally play like very hyper offensive teams. So I'm still struggling to adapt to like having walls and not just sending people in there to blow up other pokes as I can and then win that way. So I'll make some adjustments. So I think I'm not out of it yet though. But yeah, we'll see. I definitely have some improvements to make, but yeah, he just beat me. I mean, he just outplayed me. That's all it was.
Now, Drew, I have one last quick question for you. I like asking this question, so I like asking all our guests. Favorite generation of Pokemon?
I was thinking that you were going to ask me this, so I've been thinking long and hard about it. My first game ever was actually Pokemon Silver. I never actually owned Red or Blue or Yellow. My parents got me a Game Boy Color for Christmas and got me Pokemon Silver. So I love Gen 2. I love those games. But my favorite Gen to actually play was probably Gen 4. Because, as
Agreed.
Jeremy and Seth have discussed, that's when it really got... That's when competitive battling really got really strategic, because you had the physical and the special split. And that made so many more Pokemon viable. And it made competitive battling what it is today, and that there's a lot of strategy and a lot of different sets that you can use on different Pokemon.
Itemization was also changed a lot in that gen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't just like useless berries anymore. It was like usable items for competitive battling.
And it wasn't just like slap a leftovers on everything, because then
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's when you had Choice Scarf and Choice Specs, and really had some, and Life Orb, and really had some differentiation in items, and like Seth said, that made a big difference, and really made you have to think more about what the moves you were going to do were.
I think one of the biggest things about Gen 4, at least for me, was I thought Gen 3 was just terrible. I hated it. I hated everything about Gen 3. I hated the layout. I hated the Hoenn or whatever. I didn't even like the starters, and I hated playing Omega Ruby or Mega Sapphire, whatever the hell the game is, Mega Sapphire, Alpha Ruby, whatever, which one. So actually, Peasley beat it for me, because I think I got to the 6th or 7th gem or something. I was just, I can't do this anymore. I hate this game. Get me to the end game so I can do the fun stuff. And the fun stuff is most of the stuff that kind of derives from Gen 4, which is, the breeding, and it's gotten more simplified each gen with the breeding very easy now, so it makes it relaxing. But yeah, I think Gen 4 was I think Gen 3 was kind of the dark ages in between the 1st, 2nd gen and 4th. And then 5th gen was just, I don't know what the hell that was.
5th gen was garbage.
Yeah, so, but hey, I think we're in good shape now. 6th gen's pretty good, no complaints.
Jeremy, would you say you didn't like Gen 3 that much because there was too much water?
I didn't. Maybe. I mean, I know that people get upset that one review or something says too much water, but there is too much water.
It's true. There was a lot of water.
And I think that might have actually. It's not really just the concept of water. I like water, but I think it kind of slows you down, because at the point I was at, I think was around the 6th or 7th, 8th gym. I don't even remember.
When you start surfing out into the big
you got to start surfing out, and at that point, it's fine. I don't mind running into tentacles and stuff. That's whatever. But it's just so slow, and at that point, I'm like, I'm done with this game. I'm ready to be done. Get me to Victory Road or whatever. But no, you got to surf, and oh wait, you got to dive. There's water under the water. So. I don't know, but yeah, that's probably a good reason. I can support that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna agree with you on Gen 5 that Gen 5 was kind of like, what the hell is going on? I really didn't like competitive battling in that generation, because it was like, hey, everybody's gonna use the weather team, and if you don't, your team's not gonna be good enough.
And they just introduced so many goddamn legendaries.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I can vouch for too many legendaries.
We don't need 8 trios of some form of animal.
Right, and they added the that end game where you have to go get the 7 wizard, sage, monk, whatever the hell they are, and I was like, I don't care, I'm done. I think so. I don't know. Maybe I have a short attention span or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, so far the answer to that question has only been Gen 2 and Gen 4. I agree that Gen 3 was the Dark Ages. So let's move out of historical nostalgia talk and into the current PBF. Week 2 is not done yet, but a lot of the games are done. I think over half. Jeremy, what do you think of the standings so far?
Well, I need to look at the standings. So, I think everything's pretty balanced still. Not all the games are in as of this podcast, but let's see here. Yeah, I mean, Jirachi division, you got a 2-2, you got a 2-1, you got a 1-3, and then wait a minute. Okay.
I have some breaking news here.
Okay.
Maestro Missy just beat Alex Pingle.
Okay.
So
Okay.
add that to the standings.
That brings Maestro Missy to a
2-0
3-0.
victory.
Yeah, she's still undefeated.
Still undefeated. And probably will remain that way for a good bit of the season. I don't see anybody in the Sapphire Conference taking her down because she's already played. I mean, she's played everyone in the Mu division, and she's played, arguably, the best player in the Selby division in Pingle, and has come up victorious in all 3 games. What was the score in that game, Peasley?
2-0. Chandelure and Mega Lucario ended up standing tall for Missy.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think that, like, I mean, obviously that division. I mean, I'm 2-1. She's 3-1. No, she's 3-0. I gotta get out the schedule to see who she plays next. She's gonna play
Brad.
She's gonna play Brad. So if Brad actually plays,
Whew.
it'll be interesting. I think Brad beat her last year, or season 3, season 2.
We're in season 3 now.
Well, whatever.
Isn't this season 4 technically?
Nope.
Season 3 did not exist. Season 2.5.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, I think the Mu division, it's really Maestro Missy's to lose at this point. The Selby division, pretty close. Gordon has to play me this week, so that's a loss. He also has to play Brad, so this is really heavily contingent on Brad actually playing. But if Brad plays, I think the Selby division becomes interesting. If not, I also think that's Pingle's division to lose. The Jirachi division, it's like I said, it's close, but the problem with the Jirachi division is no one has pulled out as the clear favorite right now. So I think that's going to be the most competitive. And for Awesomeness had a rough week, but I mean, I think he had some pretty tough competition. Who did he play? Yeah, he played Delaney and Rosin Shuri John. So that's an inter-conference game. Yeah, that's
Delaney's my boy. He's been playing some real close games.
Yeah,
Delaney has impressed me a lot.
And speaking of Delaney, we're going to get to the Victini division right now, and I can tell you who's not going to win the Victini division, and that was my original choice to win the Victini division, and that would be Team Noha.
I told you not to pick me. I didn't even pick myself.
Now, Seth, do you want to break the news on the podcast that just happened down on the PBF group?
What?
What?
You just made
the thing I just did?
Yeah. You want to break that news?
Sure.
The wave wire?
I dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dropped Dust Clots for Mian Xiao.
Interesting.
Don't wanna expand on that at all.
It's funny. Yeah. I don't know. I just need more offense.
I was gonna say that's obviously an offensive move. I can get behind that.
See, I don't think it's very offensive because I'm actually quite tickled because that was my suggestion for last week's waiver wire pickup of the week, and it might have been a week, and I don't even know if Nohawk watches this podcast.
Wait, you suggested Mian Xiao?
I sure did.
Whoa. Goddamn.
I don't think we'll get a better transition to waiver wire pick of the week for this week. Obviously, Nohawk's waiver wire pick was Mian Xiao. Do you have another one, Seth, that maybe someone else could be looking at?
Yeah, I saw. Shit, who did I pass? because obviously I was just looking at it, and I passed somebody who was a close second, who I can't seem to find right now.
All right, well, we'll let you think. Drew, do you have any waiver ideas?
Yeah, I actually picked him up in the hopes that I might be able to trade him earlier, and to just kind of call attention to that. Hey, this guy is not taken. If you need something like this, it's a good pick. My first week I dropped Septile because I traded Jolteon for Septile. I dropped Septile for Heracross because I was shocked Heracross was not drafted at all. And so I picked him up thinking maybe I can trade him, but probably not. But really, I'd just rather call attention to, hey, Heracross is here. If you need somebody like this, slap a Choice Scarf on him. He's a great sweeper, or he has decent enough bulk as it is, and you can use him and have a really offensive powerhouse on your team if you need that.
Yeah, that's an easy like role filler if you need a physical sweeper.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty easy choice.
Did you find it yet, Seth?
No, but I'm just looking around and there's a lot of guys that so they're not OU, but they're definitely worthwhile. Like Liepard is available, who I know. I don't preferably like that whole.
I hate Liepard.
I actually hate prankster Pokemon, but whatever. Liepard's real good. Always annoyed the hell out of me. There's Typhlosion and Feraligatr still available.
Feraligatr is a little Residentiary John, I think.
Oh, did he get picked up?
Yeah, but Typhlosion.
Yeah, you're right.
I thought about picking up Typhlosion too because he's a.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah,
Typhlosion's there. He's a potential special sweeper. Hitmonlee, another possible sweeper.
Was Hitmontop drafted?
Hitmontop is.
I think so.
Yes. Did Gordon take him or no? Maybe not.
Beats the hell out of me.
Yeah, Gordon took him.
Yeah, I feel like I remember Gordon taking him.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Jeremy, do you have any picks? Oh, sorry, Seth.
Yeah, I actually do have a waiver wire pick of the week, and it's Dusclops. Seriously, I mean, it's a very good Pokemon. Obviously, Nohawk didn't need him, but I can assure you, possibly even by the time this podcast goes down, that he might not be available because.
I do like Dusclops.
Yeah, I mean.
I personally run Dusclops with no HP whatsoever.
And then
just stack it all in. Yeah, it's defense and special defense, and if you pain split anything, you could be at 80% health and you'll still gain health.
Right. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think Dusclops is a very solid Pokemon. You obviously have to be afraid of the knockoff, but there's ways to get around knockoff, and that's my switching out, being smart.
Sure.
Okay, well then we'll just we'll move on here. Any other comments you want to make about the standings, Drew? I know that you and Nohawk are division rivals. What do you think of the way your division's shaking out so far?
I am very, very happy with Delaney because I was worried that you guys said he was new to competitive battling.
Yeah.
I was worried that he really wouldn't stand too much of a chance in a division with me and Richard and Nohawk because we're all pretty competent players. But he has done really well the past couple weeks. I ended up watching both of his games, which we should talk about later.
Let's talk about it right now. What are the highlights that you wanted to point out?
Oh, I just wanted to talk about watching the battles in general. How you can, do that, and nobody knew that apparently.
Oh yeah. So Drew pointed out to my attention this week that all the replays are available on Showdown. You just click the little replays tab at the top, and then you can just search by username, and you can watch every battle ever.
Oh wow.
So if you want to do research on your opponent, if you just want to see games that were played because they're usually pretty entertaining, you just click the replays tab, like Mike said. Enter in the username that you're looking for, and you can watch whatever battles they've recorded using Share Replay, and you can watch those whenever you want. So it's officially out there. I'm not the only one doing it anymore. I usually did it just to see what was going on, how the games were going, what people were doing, because the battles are usually pretty interesting. So you can access the replays if you want to.
This does not mean that you stop sending me your replays, because I am not going to go in and individually look up everyone's thing.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Jeremy, go on
it's not an
Showdown.
excuse.
Go on what?
Showdown.
Okay. Why am I on Showdown?
I have changed my tagline, by the way. No,
Woohoo!
Okay.
Are we waiting for something here, Seth? Or the
Oh no,
What are we
no,
waiting
no.
for?
Do your thing. Do your thing.
what's going on over at Showdown?
Nothing, apparently. Oh, Noak wants to random battle.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, boy.
Getting
Are
that
we-
bored with the podcast.
Yeah. That's a
Wow.
little disrespectful
Alright.
shot.
Do we want to? Would we rather live comment on the random battle or go to the shame of the week?
Oh, I was
say
still
no,
gonna talk
seeing
about-
as he just
Oh,
got his
sorry.
hernias.
Yeah,
Well,
I was going to talk about Delaney still because
okay, keep going on
Oh
delay.
yeah.
I was impressed with him.
Ignore No Hawk completely disrespecting the podcast.
Come on, no.
I'm not
This is why we're running 3. So
Yeah, just keep going, Drew.
Delaney, yeah, I watched some of his battles. He ended up playing Silverdile, who is always a really, really strong opponent. He ended up getting all 6 kills, I think, with his Mega Sizor, which it wasn't a sweep because he switched out a lot and he didn't really set it up until the end, but he ended up getting all 6 with his Mega Sizor and really used him to his fullest potential, so he did really, really well with him.
Wow.
And so yeah, he's not lost in our division at all. He's doing really well, and I'm impressed with how he's done so far. Also, my friend John St. Laurent, who is in the Jirachi division, is now 2-2 this week. I ended up beating him, but he played a really strong game against me. I only ended up winning 1-0, and it was really close. It came down to Sizor just bullet punching his Mega Pincer until it was dead, which is what Sizor does. But he has played some really strong games, beaten some strong opponents, and he's doing really well so far. So good on him. I know he's really, really wanting to make the playoffs this year because he didn't get to the last couple of years, and he's going to make a strong push. He's got a good team, and he's learning quickly what to do in competitive battling. So.
Jeremy, are there any surprises for you in the standings this season? Drew talked about a couple of his. Do you have any surprise disappointments or positive surprises that you see in the standings?
Well, I mean, obviously we don't have to talk about No Hawk anymore. But,
God
you
damn.
know, just looking at the standings, I'm a little disappointed in you, Peasley.
Oh, I'm not. I had a terrible draft.
1-3.
I mean, I'm in at least the second toughest division, maybe the toughest. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of hope for the playoffs once I saw the division shakeout. But yeah, no, I had a terrible draft. I have no other.
We would like to see the real Psyducks of Anaheim succeed.
Yeah, I mean, it's like your name is absolutely.
How is a terrible draft an excuse? It's a reason.
Peasley. There are a few players who had a bad draft and are doing just fine.
Like who?
Not No Hawk. You know, I wouldn't say my draft was fantastic, but you know, I made trades. You need to go out and make some trades, Peasley.
Yeah, okay.
You need to be aggressive on the trade market. You know, you need to.
Is this finally the week we get the used car salesman pitch, Jeremy? Sounds like you keep trying to bring up trades.
Oh, I have no one I'm trading.
Okay. Anybody else have anybody they want to trade?
Nope.
That's part of my shame of the week. So
Okay. Well then let's get to it.
if you want to transition right into that.
Well, let's go in order of shame worthy. No Hawk, do you have any shames?
Wait, what? Sorry, you lagged a little bit there. What'd you say?
Do you have any shames of the week?
No, I didn't think about it.
Okay,
Let me
Drew.
think about it. Let me think about it.
Drew, get to your shame.
All right, my shame of the week is not really shameful. I was just a little disappointed. I offered a trade to Magic Carpet Ride, Andrew Arnold. I offered him a trade that I thought would work out really well for both of our teams. And I told him about it. I'm like, hey, this will work out really well for your rain team. This will work out well for my sandstorm team. So we should do this trade and move along with it, and both of our teams will be better for it. I offered him a Azumarill for Excadrill. Azumarill would work really well with his being set up in the rain and just spam Aqua Jet. If you get a belly drum off, it's even better. Excadrill works really well on the sand team. You get Sand Rush, and you can basically Swords Dance and spam Earthquakes or Iron Heads or whatever. So I offered him that trade, and he's like, oh, okay, I'll think about it. And then I told him, okay, I picked up Electivire off the waiver wire. I'll give you him too, which is really good on a rain team because it takes any incoming electric attacks and dissuades people from using them in the first place. And you give me Melodic because I need a special wall and a bulky water if I'm going to be trading Azumarill, and you probably won't need him because you have enough water Pokemon as it is. And he was like, I'm not sure I want to do that. I think I need to keep Excadrill. I was like, why? You'll get an electric immunity. It'll work out for both of us. And he's like, I don't think I want to. I'll think about it. And he didn't end up wanting to do it. So, no discredit to him. He can do whatever he wants with his team, and obviously he feels like he needs Excadrill for his rain team still. But I was just a little disappointed in him, wanting him to pull the trigger, see what happens, see where the wind blows both of our teams. So that's why I like trading, because it ends up taking you out of your comfort zone with your team, and you get to try something new that you don't know if it'll work or not, and it just makes it kind of more fun. But that's all right. I guess I'll think about it later and get back to me, and we'll see if it ever happens.
We'll have to. We might have to get both of you guys on this podcast to maybe hash this out and debate about it. All right, Jeremy. The people have been waiting for it. Let's hear this week's shame.
So I'd like to get to our Facebook shames first. You have John, who said, I wanted to shame myself for being unable to finish off a come-from-behind victory on Drew Adam and now being an overall 0-3 against him. Ha ha.
No shame in that. It was a really good battle.
And Richard Haynes would like to say, I would like to shame Mega Meta Champ for missing a crucial HJK, which is the industry slang for high jump kick, in my match against Delaney. So I take a little bit of issue with shaming Pokemon. They're trying their hardest.
I warned him.
I warned him.
I warned him about the high jump kicks. They miss. They kill you. It's over.
Right.
Pokemon are as good as their trainer.
My shame of the week is in this call right now.
Oh, jeez.
Fuck you.
And I am shaming him not just because his record is 1-3.
Okay, it's not me.
But because he has been holding back content and exciting things for the PBF.
Okay.
What?
No. I want to no. This is not how we're gonna do this. I'm trying to be a good host about something and trying to drum up some excitement in the PBF, which it's been lacking the past couple seasons, as evidenced by people dropping out left and right all the time by like week 6. So I am purposely withholding content, but it is only to raise anticipation and hopefully make the payoff sweeter. So just a pre-shame defense.
Raising the hype.
No, Beasley, I never said the shame was you, but you've just successfully shamed yourself. I'm just kidding. It's totally you, and it has nothing to do with the thing you're talking about. But it's the other ideas, the extracurriculars, the other videos that I was talking about that you've just had no interest in doing for the wonder of the PBF that I'm going to do with other people. And it's going to be exciting, Peasley, and you call the PBF not exciting. And I think it's because, as this kind of duo admin collective consortium, if you will, I think I'm the fun one and you're kind of the grumpy dad.
Badman Mike.
Yeah, Badman Mike. You're the one who always brings the bad news, and then I think I rightfully get the reputation of the hero, of the the guiding light. Whenever you see PBF, you think of this mountain with the Hartford Whalers captain sitting on top with a beautiful flag that says "Fun," and then at the bottom you have Mike with his little devil horns, looking all devilishly like "Boo, no fun." And I think that we need to lighten you up a little bit, Pisa. I think it's no more welcome trainers to another podcast. How we doing, trainers? Good to see you. Welcome to the
I've said welcome trainers. I said welcome trainers to the first podcast. I'm not changing. I love themes and
that's the thing. You refuse to change, Paisley. You refuse to change. You're a crotchety old man sitting on your porch with your shotgun saying, "Get off my lawn."
Paisley,
You don't want to change.
Paisley,
And that's why I'm shaming you, Paisley.
So you want to take more of the reins in the PBF. The guy who quits before the playoffs and could probably have won the last two, but decided to not play in the playoffs instead.
Hey, the champion takes offense to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Good job.
Well, that's very disrespectful, Paisley. Not only are you fun, but you're disrespectful.
Jeremy, actually, we've never battled, so
I don't think we have either.
I have no idea how that would shake out.
Yeah,
That's because Jeremy's the scheduler.
No, actually, Jeremy's the scheduler.
I think Jeremy's
this season.
Jeremy was afraid of the battle the second time around. The first time he was just done with the whole idea. The second time, after I made him do a season 2, he just didn't want that fight. He saw Drew Adam coming down the pipe, and he ran scared.
See, Peasley now insulting my integrity, but actually, we randomized the schedule for the last 2 seasons, and this season, I'm 100% making the schedule, and I'm just trying to make sure everybody plays everybody.
I was talking about the playoffs.
What?
I was talking about the playoffs last season.
I don't last till the playoffs. I usually get past first round. That's it. Not
because you get bored. Because you get bored and don't want to play anymore.
Right, because someone's sucking the fun out of it for me.
Yeah, okay.
Fun sucker.
Mm-hmm.
How could I possibly suck the fun out of a tournament? Tournaments are built-in fun.
Says who?
Everybody.
Tournaments are usually competitions, not super fun.
Yeah, competition is fun.
I've heard that.
Competition is fun. We're gonna Google that.
I like Drew's tagline.
Thank you.
I'm not funny or inspirational quotes about competition.
Jeremy, are you saying that
Robert B. Parker, American crime novelist? Sure.
Who cares about Robert B. Parker?
I have advice for people starting to write. Don't. I don't need the competition. If you need a competition.
Is Robert B. Parker a Pokemon?
He could be.
Robert B. Parker is probably some lame English major who doesn't like competition.
We should get him to write the script for the PBF movie.
Yeah, here, Roger Waters, English musician and songwriter. A little better for you, Paisley?
Waters.
I'm in competition with myself, and I'm losing. How is that fun?
Yeah, none of us are insane geniuses who feel that their work is not perfect, and that because their work is not perfect, they're losing the competition themselves.
I'm not even going to address that. Not even going to address it.
The point is, you just keep trying to put the blame on me, and you're the one who just walked out of the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Hey, I think you guys are both doing a great job as admins. I think the competition between you as admins makes the PBF more fun.
Yes. The constant butting heads. It's like Jeremy's a snowboarder and Peasley's a skier. They just can't see eye to eye.
No, I'd like to change that a little bit. I'm definitely the skier. Peasley's the snowboarder because the snowboarders always just sit in the middle of the slopes and get in the skier's way.
The snowboarder is also immensely more fun than a skier.
I skied for a year. Okay.
Ooh.
So I think I know what I'm talking about. The snowboarders just kind of sit in the middle of the slopes and fraternize on the trails. I didn't do slopes. I'm not trying to hurt myself here, okay? They're just kind of sitting there dude, sick air. And the skier's coming through, and they're dude, we're sitting here chilling. And so,
Sean White is an Olympic hero and a millionaire from sponsors, and you can't name a single skier.
yeah, I can.
Who?
Lindsey Vonn.
Lindsey Vonn and me.
And me. I
Yeah.
am a skier.
Yeah.
Lindsey Vonn would be nothing without Tiger Woods. All right. So,
Where has this gone?
Seth, do you have any shames while we're still here? Did you think of one?
I could do the obvious shame myself, but I already know that I'm shamed. No, both my battles this week, like, I did my battles. Everybody's doing their battles. Normally, I would just shame people for lack of participation, but that's been pretty good so far, with the exception of Brad, who I know is, that's a separate thing. But no, I'm good. I am at peace.
All right. Well, let's try to stop the negativity here, because that's what I do as an admin. I try to solve problems. Let's get to the in-depth breakdowns. We'll start with the Speedwagon Foundation. Drew, what are your initial thoughts on this team?
It's a team. It's good.
Great.
Got right away I see that they have some really powerful special sweepers in Gengar and Gardevoir. When Noivern is a decent special sweeper, but he's hard to use properly. Oh shit! What happened? Yeah, the Megas are decent. Mega Metagross has a lot of potential. One of the better Megas I think to come from a Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So yeah, has some decent offensive power. Not a lot of walls. That would be the one flaw.
Yeah, I think he could. I think he could pick up like a special wall, or physical wall to help out Chansey a little bit. 'Cause that is like Chansey's obviously a really good Pokemon, but without anything to like help it out, kind of just by itself, while the rest of his team is like super squishy. So I think a pickup of that nature could help.
Maybe a Dusclops.
That's a very good call. Dusclops could absolutely work to get Chansey, but then you run into the problem of item cost because you can't have two Eviolites.
Oh, you're right.
So that kind of pigeonholes him there.
Ooh.
So looking at it here, I don't know how he uses Gardevoir, but that would be a pretty solid trade bait, I think, because with Noivern and Gengar, I don't think you need Gardevoir. And I think Gardevoir or Noivern would have to be the ones to go in a trade, and maybe Dugtrio, but a lot of people don't seem to like Dugtrio anymore, and I don't know why. Maybe he's outclassed by a lot of other Pokemon nowadays. I don't know. But I do think that we're talking about the Speedwagon Foundation, right?
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, just making sure. I think
Way to pay attention, Jeremy.
Yeah, he has a lot of untouchables. Like, you're not going to trade Gengar. You're not going to trade Chansey. I wouldn't trade Toxicroak. I think Toxicroak's very good. Good coverage. And I wouldn't trade Whimsicott.
Mm-hmm.
Then with your Mega, you've got 5 pretty solid guys. But, Noivern, Dugtrio, or Gardevoir, I think you could make a trade for some sort of physical wall, which he absolutely needs. I'm going to just run through these rosters real quick. Potential walls. It's tough. I mean, every single week we seem to talk about these teams, and we just kind of go, oh, yeah, they need a wall. And that's been, the problem, because everyone has sleepers. There's a lot of sleepers. I'm looking here.
Yeah, a good wall is like having a good quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. It's like having a good, it's like having a good admin running your organization. Maybe work something out with the Real Mighty Ducklets, because he's got a Donphan and a Tangrowth. And those are both 2 physical walls. And the Mighty Ducklets do not have a big special sweeper. He's got Mega Mawile, Mega Heracross, Aegislash, Gyarados, Frostlass, Ambipom, and the only ones who really could be special sweepers would be Goodra, who's more of a kind of defensive special sweeper. He's not going to really outspeed anything, and Lilligant, who really needs like a Quiver Dance or something to really get going. So he could absolutely work out a trade there. I mean, I think he'd be pretty good with a Gardevoir to kind of back up that Goodra, but then I guess he already has Mawile, who's Fairy type. But I think they could probably work something out there, should they decide to. And yeah, that's my suggestion for that situation.
Any other comments before we go to the next team? Nope. Okay. So we'll move on to another division rival in the Victini division, Silverdile. Seth, what do you see when you look at this team?
Super strong team. Mega Metacham, obviously, tons of damage. Alakazam, Salamence, Metagross, tons of damage. And then Florges is a surprisingly good,
Really good Pokemon.
Yeah, like obviously really good special wall, but just like really good at just tanking any kind of hits that aren't like super effective. Can cure statuses, wish, protect, deal out a decent amount of damage actually with a Moonblast. It's really underrated Pokemon in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know, super strong team just all around.
Yeah, the one thing that I have had a little bit of trouble with and seen that has performed really well in his battles is that Florges and the Metagross make a really, really solid core.
Yeah.
So you have that defensive.
Yeah, anything you would switch in to kill Florges, can pretty much be countered by Metagross. So.
Yeah, all you have to attack him is poison and steel types if you're trying to get him super effectively. Yep. Most of those are pretty physical. Poison types not necessarily, but Mega Metagross can take any physical steel attack and can take a poison attack, obviously, because he's immune to it. So you can't really touch that Florges so easily, and if he lasts to the end of the battle and you don't have something to take him down, he's going to sit there, tank up all your hits, and kill you with Moonblast. So his core has performed really well, and that's definitely something to watch out for if you are battling him.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Serperior tied for second most kills on his team?
I think he fell into a very fortunate situation. I don't know if you knew this ahead of time, but Serperior, his hidden ability became legal in just the last week or two, which is contrary. So Leaf Storm, every time you use it, instead of losing 2 special attack levels, you gain 2. And Serperior is very fast. So I think a lot of people are getting caught off guard with that just because it's something we've never seen before.
Yeah, it was never really allowed.
Yeah. But, and the only thing about Serperior really is it doesn't have the best coverage. I think it only really gets like Leaf Storm, Dragon Pulse, and a hidden power, either Fire, Ice, or Rock or something. But the thing about hidden power is it's only 60 base attack, which isn't great. But if you have a +2, which you get by using Leaf Storm, which does a lot of damage, even to some things that resist it, hidden power coming from a +2 is going to hurt no matter what. And the fact that he can look at the other team's biggest threat to his team, choose the hidden power accordingly, and just go to town with Serperior, because Serperior's got like base 110 speed, less looking, 113 base 113 speed.
113, wow.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah. So really, you just need to get off 1 Leaf Storm, and you're ready to go. So, I think people will start catching on, but really, if he gets a free switch in to anything, he's going to Leaf Storm on the switch, and it doesn't really matter how much damage it does, because the damage is obviously what you want, but you're not going to complain about getting a free +2. So, it's a scary Pokemon. I don't think it'll be OU, but there's no really tiers in the PBF, just because it'll get torn apart by Talonflame. But not everybody has Talonflame. Only one person has Talonflame. And so, Serperior absolutely has a chance to thrive in this league, where in my opinion, grass-type sweepers are at an absolute minimum. I don't even think that's opinion. I think that's fact.
Yeah, it's like him and Selby, which is not in this.
Right. I mean, you got as far as
Lilligant,
good
maybe?
special sweeping grass types. I mean, I can think of like Venusaur on a Sun team, Superior.
Lilligant can work
Right.
with Super Dance.
Yeah, Lilligant, like that's pushing it, but that's really all you got. And then on the
Mhm.
physical side, I mean, you got Breloom, and that's all I can think of. So
True, if you want to be.
yeah. So I mean, it's having a good grass type is a really good thing to have, and he's got one.
Drew, what's your general opinion about Smogon and their tiers and their happenings? We've talked about it a little. Jeremy's kind of ranted about it before, but I'm just curious to hear some other opinions on it.
The $64,000 question. I like the purpose that Smogon serves, but I wish that not everybody felt like they had to use their rules. I think grouping Pokemon into tiers is a good thing because it gives you an idea, as a new player especially, of what's really going to be effective, what's really going to be useful. But sometimes it really constrains you to what you can do in just like online battles. Like nobody's going to use an Aegislash in online battles because somebody's going to yell at them, "Hey, that's Uber, you can't use it." Nobody's going to use Blaziken or any of the other ones that they made Uber because they'll yell, "Hey, you're using an Uber, you're cheating." And that's quite frankly, if you're not playing in really high-ranked matches with really skilled players, those Pokemon might not be really overpowered. They're just overpowered for the people who spend a lot of time battling and thinking of strategies and way to use Pokemon. So I think they serve their purpose. I think the resources that they have, like teaching you about competitive battling, giving you movesets and ideas for that kind of stuff, I think that's all great if you're starting off and great if you don't really know that much about a Pokemon. But I think if you begin to rely on it too much, then the game becomes kind of dull.
Okay, do we have any trade ideas for Silverdile or possible waiver pickups before we get off that team?
I mean, he's 2-1 right now. He might. 2-1. I don't think he's played his fourth game. Who's he playing? Yeah, he's playing Zach, who hasn't played his games yet. So, I mean, it's really hard to say. What was his game with Delaney? What was the score?
It was like 3-0.
2-0, 3-0.
Okay, yeah, so it was close. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's not in trouble. Obviously, he's doing perfectly fine. So really, I mean, I'd hesitate to give him some sort of suggestion because obviously what he's doing is working. And even if you lose one game, like even if you would have got swept by Delaney like 6-0, it's just one game. It's an isolated event.
Yeah,
he's got a good team.
He has a really strongly balanced team too.
Yeah. The only thing that might be missing at all would be some sort of big, strong physical wall. But whenever you have, he has, fortunately, the combination of speed and power. Not just power. So, I mean, sometimes you don't even need a physical wall if you've got some fast guys. Like Alakazam, no one's going to outspeed that. Slap a Choice Scarf on Salamence, you're fine. Metacham's got Fake Out to take out anything much faster than it. You fake out, you switch out, you do it again. And if he is really running into a team where they have tons of physical threats, you bring Banette, you Will-O-Wisp everything, and you're fine.
Drew, do you know if he's been taking your advice on Metacham, or has he been doing his own thing, or did he tell you?
I don't want to say too much, but I did recommend a set to him. Because I've used Mega Metacham in a lot of just other battles outside of the PBF. I recommended a set to him that's a little bit different before he was running the Fake Out, High Jump Kick, Bullet Punch set, which is what I use for the most part in the PBF Season 2. But I recommended a new set to him that if he uses can be very effective. It's not quite as powerful as that other set maybe, but yeah, we'll see if he uses it. I think he told me he plans to try it out at some point, so if he uses it, watch out. It's powerful. Mega Metacham is always something you have to be ready to handle because it can punch giant holes in your team if you're not careful.
Jeremy, I'm just curious, has he responded to last week's shaming?
No.
Okay. So if no one else has anything they'd like to add, I do have a little surprise to announce for those listeners who made it to the end here. But if there's anything else anybody wants to talk about, let's get to that first.
I got nothing.
No?
Nope.
I
Okay.
think I've said everything I need to say.
Yeah.
So, in an attempt to liven up the PBF and maybe show some of the creativity that Jeremy thinks I lack, I am announcing that in the middle of this season, we will put a pause on the traditional PBF season, and we will hold a double battles tournament where we will randomly pair teams of 2, and these pairs will battle other pairs, and the winning team will each be allowed to select one legendary from the waiver wire.
Ooh.
There will still be the bans, like you still can't use like Mewtwo, but the typical OU and UU legendaries will be available to the 2 teams that win. Anybody
Now,
have?
Let me stop you there, Mike.
Okay.
We had discussed the idea of the trio concept.
Right. So on top of that, the legendaries that they will get to choose from will be all from the same set. So for example, if Nohawk and Drew were to win, we would randomly choose a trio. Let's say it was the Birds, and so the 2 of them would have to decide who gets what between Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos.
I'm taking Articuno easy.
I would take Zapdos.
But yeah, so that's just an example. The trio that they get to choose from will be randomized,
Right, or it could be a duo. I mean, it could be like Latios and Latios.
Okay.
Yeah.
But all those
it's
ones.
whatever. It's a legendary grouping. Yeah.
Right.
And then the pair will decide between themselves who gets what.
Right. And the other one just vanishes forever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I wanted to do the randomization right now, but Peasley doesn't seem to want to. But I think we have time.
I think
So
I think-
randomize.
I will
See, I-
show you how
I'll
I
put
plan.
it up. I'll put it up to a vote between Drew and Seth. Now, I want to build anticipation and excitement for next week's podcast and just announce that we'll be randomizing the teams then. Or we could overshoot an hour by a little bit today and do
This
it
is how
today.
we would be doing it.
Shit.
So what? All right, I'm gonna ask for your reactions and then your vote. Reactions to the tournament and then your vote. We'll start with Drew.
I saw that wheel, and all of a sudden I got really excited. So now I'm ready to do it now. My reaction is I really like that idea. I was a little bit hesitant at first when you said stop the PBF in the middle because I think that would disinterest some people, but I like the idea. I think it's a solid idea, and it'll get people involved a little bit. I'm nervous for. So we'll be playing doubles matches.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a little bit clunky, but
Okay.
we'll be. So each team will. We haven't worked out all the rules yet, but I think what we're gonna do is each team will pick 3 of their guys, and then there will be one sort of representative who's going to be doing the actual showdown game,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other person will be watching the game, and I guess like just Skype or
Okay,
Facebook
kind of like we did before with that random battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll just kind of be I don't know how we'll do it. We'll either do like 3 from each team or 2 from each team and just have 4-on-4 or 6-on-6. Probably 6-on-6. So just 3 from each team. You guys will decide who you're bringing.
Okay.
And then you'll just, one guy will do it, the other one will strategize, and that's how we'll do it. And we'll
Well-
probably set up a bracket, I would guess,
Okay.
or a round robin thing. I'd say a bracket because
Yeah.
if we did a round robin thing, that could take forever.
It's gonna be a lot of
I personally really
coordinating.
like the idea because I think it's anyone's game. I don't have really any experience playing doubles besides just in the games as I play through
Yeah.
them.
I'm with
So-
you there.
So I really have no idea what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to be bringing. So it's anybody's game. Anybody could do really well in this tournament and end up with a good competitive advantage in the end.
Seth, what's your reaction and your vote for spinning the wheel?
I'm cool with it. I like the idea. I'm a big. I think I always like the weird different kind of battles that you could do. Doubles being one of them. Like I always like monotype. I always like all the kind of off stuff. So I'm cool with that. I'm excited.
So do you say spin today or next week?
I would probably say next week, but that's just because I kind of have to go soon.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Jeremy, we're 1-1. I think this comes down to one of your favorite methods, the flipping of the coin.
Random.org.
And
no,
just
Seth has to go. We're doing it. We're spinning. Here we go.
No. I could block you.
Oh no, this is perfect. No hug.
No.
Oh, whoops. There you go, Jeremy. Whoops.
Wow.
Guess we'll be doing it next week.
And on that bombshell, who will I be paired with next week?
See, Jeremy just isn't a natural storyteller like I am. I'm trying to build anticipation here. I was gonna say go to the flip of the coin, but Jeremy tried to take it in his own hands, and I won't be pushed around like that.
Wow.
So
Just got serious.
So yeah.
My anticipation is even further heightened now to see you guys bitching at each other next week. So.
See, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, Mommy and Daddy are fighting in the PBF, and Mommy had to leave. So yeah, if you guys have nothing else to add for this week, for Seth and Jeremy, we would like to thank Drew for joining us this week.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was a blast. I hope I can get on at some other point. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So for all of us here at the PBF Podcast, thank you for watching and listening. Don't forget to tune in next week for the dramatic conclusion of the wheel spin and to see everybody's partners for the double battle tournament. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff.
Woohoo!
Woohoo, indeed.
Right.
Somebody just knocked at my door, so see you guys.
Okay. Talk to you next
See
week.
you, Seth.
Bye.